Adele's story, particularly, really, really inspired me. And they've become great friends. We've succeeded. We've traveled the world together in the world of network marketing. And I wanted to bring this lady to you because she is one of the most beautiful humans, one of the most courageous ladies you'll ever meet. And she has this very relaxed, but this gentle, beautiful demeanor about her. And she's written a few successful books, one of them called How Shy People Can Be Successful Too. And I remember reading this book and going, wow. Like I've read it quite a few times since. It's an amazing book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend you connect with Adele, go and grab a copy of a book. I'll pull one out. I'll find it on my bookshelf and I'll show you that at the end of her talk. But I wanted to introduce you. This couple have done millions in sales. They've qualified for insane amount of trips. They've won cars in the industry. They've moved to Spain. They've lived in Spain for like 5 years, 2 years, or whatever it was like. But allowing their kids to become bilingual, to live that network marketing lifestyle. They really have built something amazing. But it's not just that; it's the people that they are. And I want to introduce you to Adele today because she has this fabulous way. No pressure, Adele. Fabulous way of sharing information with you that's really going to hit you in your heart and soul. So a massive welcome to this beautiful lady. Hey Adele, how are you?
Hi. I'm actually feeling very emotional hearing that introduction. Thank you so much.
23 years ago, 23 years ago, that trigger, like I'm getting emotional. I've got so much to thank you both for. So I'm gonna jump out, guys. You're gonna absolutely love this, and make sure you get your notepads and pens to a ready, and I'll pop up with the book at the end as well. So over to you, sweetheart.
Thank you very much. I can actually remember standing on the balcony of our hotel room in Cairns, the one that Craig just described with the 2 beds. And we actually had a double balcony and we looked out like, we could see such amazing views from the balcony. And I remember that we said to each other, whoa, I can't believe that 2 days ago we were actually putting out catalogues because we worked with a catalogue network marketing company. We were delivering and collecting catalogues. And like now we're standing here in 5-star luxury. And it was just one of those moments that you just had to pinch yourself. You just couldn't believe it was happening. So that was one of my greatest memories. That's our first trip on a conference with a network marketing company. So it was amazing. And if I had to sum up, network marketing for me and my network marketing journey, the word would be freedom, because that's what it's given to myself and Jamie and our family. It's given us freedom. It's given us, like Craig said, freedom to travel the world, freedom to live in Spain, on and off for the past sort of 10 to 12 years, I think. Freedom to watch our children grow up, and freedom to be at everything that they've ever done at school, and and even homeschooled for periods of time in between all that. And I've just had an amazing time. So, it's given us, even if it wasn't for the, and yes, the money, obviously we couldn't live that life without the money, but everything else that it brings. And one of the most important things it's done for me is the personal development as well, because I don't think, would I have come across personal development if it wasn't for this business? Maybe I wouldn't, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But I definitely have it to thank for that as well. So what I want to share with you today is how, it doesn't matter what type of personality you are, you can still succeed in this business. You can still succeed in network marketing. I'm going to focus, obviously, specifically on shyness, because that's me. But, it doesn't matter, whatever you feel about your personality. If you feel that you've got a personality that holds you back, then you've got to end that right now and just think, I can do this, because whoever you are, whatever you like, whatever you love to do, you can succeed in network marketing. You so can. So just to go sort of back a little bit and just tell you a little bit of my story. I began in network marketing when I was 24. I think we were about 28 when we saw Craig in Cairns, because I know we'd left our daughter. We had a 14-month-old daughter at the time, and I remember it being really hard saying goodbye to her at the door. But she was like not bothered in the slightest. She was like, waving us off. I think I cried all the way to the airport because we'd left her behind. But yeah, so we started when we were 24. I was working in a full-time job. I hated my job. I hated being trapped in one place. I worked in a hospital laboratory. I had quite a responsible job, issuing blood for operations and testing blood samples. But, you know, it wasn't so much the job, it was the environment, I think. I was surrounded by lots of other, you know, people, and I just felt trapped. And I always felt like I wanted to be on the road. You know, I used to see the medical reps that came into the lab, and I always wished I had their job, you know, traveling around. And from an early age, I'd always sort of seemed quite entrepreneurial. You know, I'd always loved the idea of my own business. But the problem was I was shy, I was awkward, I was self-conscious, and I was nervous. I was a nervous wreck most of the time growing up, well into my, you know, early 20s. And I just, you know, that's one reason I hated the job. I just felt like I was always scared of doing something wrong, like in the lab. So I just wanted to do my own thing so badly. And then we had this opportunity to join network marketing. So obviously I just took it and I just ran with it because I saw it as my way out of that situation that I was in. So we worked the business part-time. We were only doing evenings and weekends because we both had full-time jobs. We'd just bought our first house. We were saving up to get married. It couldn't have been a busier time really for us to join. So we didn't have a lot of spare time. So it was literally evenings and weekends. And, you know, we just got stuck in. We just wanted it so badly. So I just want to talk a little bit about how I came across the personal development as well, because I feel like this was a key point. We lent a set of tapes. Yes, it was tapes in those days. It was cassette tapes. We lent a set of tapes off our sponsor, the person that had introduced us to the business. And they were called The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn. And my husband first listened to them in the car with our sponsor, and he came back and told me, said, I've been listening to these tapes by this American guy, and, you know, I really think they're really interesting. So anyway, our sponsor ended up lending us this set of tapes. So what I did was I had this little red Mini, tiny little red Mini, and I used to call it my mini university because I used to just listen to stuff in there. So this set of tapes was the first thing that went in there. So I put the tapes in on my way to work. I used to listen to them on the way to work. I never used to want to get out of the car when I got to work because I was just so into the listening to the stuff. But one day, one of the tapes got stuck inside the machine because the car was literally so old that, you know, it was everything was broke. So one of the tapes got stuck in, and I just remember pulling out like masses and masses of this tape spool and thinking, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've lent these off our sponsor. So there was nothing we could do, but we had to buy them. You know, we had to buy another set to give to him. And they were £50, which is a lot of money in them days. Like, we hadn't got any money. We hadn't got any spare cash, but we had to buy these tapes. So because we'd spent the money, because we'd spent that £50, we made sure we listened to them. So I listened to them over and over again. And then I just, you know, got more and more books, and, you know, and that's where it all started really. So yeah, we had this set of tapes. That was the beginning. And it just went on from there. So as I got sort of more into the network marketing business, I realized that, you know, I was stepping out of my comfort zone a lot, you know, just bit by bit, gradually, but, you know, over a period of time, it was a lot. I was doing things that I would never have dreamed of. So things like, you know, I used to go around, because it was a lot of face-to-face in those days, and I used to go around with our sponsor, and we'd see people, we'd go through sort of a presentation with them. So I remember, you know, my sponsor he took me with him one day. He did the first two, and he said, right, now it's your turn. And I was sort of thrown in at the deep end. And so I was really, you know, out of my comfort zone, but I did it. I got through it. And then there was things like speaking at the front of a room, you know, presenting part of the business presentation, which, you know, again, I've never dreamed of doing anything like that, but I just did little bits at a time. And it really helped. So, you know, if you're somebody that is nervous and shy and you know, a quieter nature, you know, you can do these things. You've just got to find a way to handle it that, you know, that works for you. And it's just practice. That's all I did. I just kept practicing until, you know, I got to doing, you know, bigger audiences. And I can remember somebody ringing me one day and saying, would you come and speak for this training that they had I can't remember, I think it was every sort of quarter. It was either every quarter or every 6 months. And I said, yeah, you know, that's fine. Then I came off the phone and realized that, oh my God, that's the one that there's always about 400 people at that meeting. And I thought, what have I done, you know? But I always sort of had the philosophy of saying yes and then worrying about it later. I'd figure it out later. So I did that, and then it went on, and eventually I spoke at the NEC in front of thousands of people. I couldn't believe I'd actually done it. Shy little person like me had actually spoken to all those people. So it just shows what you can achieve, because I never would have. I'd never even had those things, on my sort of list of ambitions. But it just shows that, you can achieve things if you, as you develop and grow as a person. And I'm always, I believe that you should always be yourself and just not, change who you are, but more of that in a minute. So I remember coming off the stage when I spoke at this big conference, and somebody came up to me and said, wow, what are you going to do next? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I've got to have some other goal now. And I just said, out of the blue, I'm going to write a book. Because I just felt so passionately that, I'd learned such a lot of stuff, such a lot of valuable things that had helped me, that I wanted to just share it with everybody, because I thought there must be more people out there like me, that are shy and quiet and don't believe that they can succeed because of who they are and how they are. So I just wanted to share it. So that's when the book came. I wrote the book. I think I wrote most of it when we went to Spain, because we went to Spain for 9 months. We just got the 2 daughters at the time, and we went to Spain for 9 months. They were in school all day, so I just spent all day long writing and just putting all my ideas down. And then the year after, I actually self-published it. So Shy People Can Be Successful Too was born. So that's how the book came about. And then I started to sort of delve more into, what were the key things that had helped me. I'd done a lot of personal development. I'd listened to lots of stuff. I'd read lots of books. And I actually, realized that it was four main areas that had actually helped me the most. The first one was confidence, just building that confidence and that energy. It's been said a lot already over the last couple of days about having that energy and that confidence in yourself. So that was the first area. The second area was communication. If you want to succeed in business, you've got to have a little, some communication skills. But I realized that there were things I could do that would make that a lot easier. The third one was learning how to set goals and, finding out what it is that you really want if you don't know already, and then how to achieve them. And the fourth one was developing a mindset for success, which again, you've heard lots spoken about that the last couple of days as well. So I'm just going to go through each one and just give you a few of my tips that can help you in network marketing, because, like I said, whatever personality you are, you can succeed. So confidence. It's all about embracing who you are and not fighting against it. I fought against my shyness for so long that I let it, really stop me with things. I just, thought I've got to overcome this shyness. I've got to overcome it. I've got to be extrovert. I've got to, be loud and confident. And I was totally doing it the wrong way. You've got to embrace who you are and sort of work with it and use it to your advantage even. So I started to do that. I started to think, right, I'm this way. I'm shy. I'm quiet. And that's just the way it is. I'm going to, work on myself, but I'm going to still be me. I'm going to, sort of work on myself so that I become the best version of me. But I'm still going to be, the quiet person. I don't have to be loud, if I don't want to be. And, there are some, it's interesting because there are some moments in your life when even the most introverted, quiet person can be extrovert. And that's when, when you're doing things that you love, or when you're talking about things that you're really knowledgeable about. So I do find that comes out sometimes. So yeah, that's the thing. It's embracing who you are and being yourself. When it comes to communication, I've done a lot of, research on this, and I read a really amazing book called How to Win Friends and Influence People a long time ago. And I picked up lots from that book. But one of the main things that I learned over the years was that you have to listen properly. So I used to be the kind of person that I'd be in a conversation, and I really wouldn't be listening properly because I'd be so worried about what I was going to say when it was my turn to speak. So I just found that I was so busy thinking about that I wasn't really paying attention to what the person was saying. So what I realized was, and what I learned was, that if you actually listen properly, really listen, then you don't need to think, you don't need to worry about what you're going to say, because what you are going to say will come naturally because you've listened so well to that person. And something else I realized was that you don't have to do all the talking either. You can still come across as an interesting person and not be, you know, a massive talker, because when you listen properly, you come across as interesting. So they were interesting things to me. The other thing was I learned how to how to have good posture, and that makes a massive difference on your confidence. It can really, you know, give you that extra confidence when you need it. If you think about your posture and stand up straight and hold your head up high and look people in the eye, and just be proud, you know, not sort of hunched over, or, you know, like sort of trying to hide, or, you know, hiding, touching your face, or, you know, hiding yourself. You've got to, you know, be proud, stand tall. So I always think about posture. And something else that I use is something called power posing. And I actually did it before this today because I was so nervous. But I just stood in a Wonder Woman pose for 2 minutes before. And I do that before any, you know, like any event or any speech or presentation, whatever, just because holding the powerful posture really, it tells your own body that you're confident. Because, you know, sometimes we think we want to impress, you know, we think our body language for other people, but it's actually for ourselves more. So it's very important that you have the right posture. And the last thing where communication, where talking about communication, is an affirmation that I love. And it really fits with network marketing. And it's, I always say the right thing to the right person. So that can, you know, it just helps with so many different situations and scenarios. It can help you when you're talking to prospects. It can help you when you're, you know, talking to customers. It really is a good all-round affirmation that I love to use all the time. So the third area was goal setting. And I actually, you know, I love goal setting. I always have, because the very first meeting that we went to when we'd first joined the business, there was a guy stood at the front of the room. He was an accountant. He looked, you know, he was very presentable. He had authority, and he said, get a piece of paper and write out everything that you want in the next 10 years. And we were like, oh, okay, what we're doing this for? We'd never heard of goal setting before. But we listened, you know, to what he said, and we did it anyway because we were being told to. So we just literally wrote down loads of things, and some of them were really out there, like, you know, things that we thought, oh yeah, we'll never achieve that, but we'll write it down anyway. And so that was our first goal list that we'd ever written. And I've written, you know, loads more since, and I like writing down my goals every day, just on little scraps of paper. But the funny thing was that list got put away. We moved house a couple of times, and I got the list out, and literally 95% of the things we ticked off, even like the most ambitious thing, which was the home in Spain. And I just couldn't believe it, because it was all down to, you know, writing out that list, following the plan with our network marketing business, and just being consistent. And, you know, we'd done it. And I think just something magical happens when you just write things down on paper. It really, really does. Another thing I've always loved doing is visualization. So, you know, write down the list of goals of things that you want, and then just pretend that you've already got them. And I've done this, you know, there's a couple of things that sort of come to mind when I think about visualization of how I've actually achieved things. And one was a car. I really wanted a mini cabriolet. And I used to pretend that my own car, that wasn't a cabriolet at all and wasn't anywhere near a mini, was that mini cabriolet. So, you know, the windows would be wound down. I'd be with my daughter coming home from school. We'd have the music on full blast. We'd have our hair blowing, and I'd feel, you know, pretend that steering wheel was the chunky leather steering wheel of the mini. So that worked, because I did end up having a black mini cabriolet later that year. And then the other thing was, I'm obsessed with new houses, like houses, well, any kind of house. In those days, it was new houses. We'd just bought our first house, but quite soon after moving in, we saw some show homes being built, and we used to visit them. And, you know, and then at every chance that I got, I would go into show homes. And I went into one once, and because we were still, obviously we were only like 24, 25, I went into one, and the lady was like, oh, are you looking for your mum and dad? I could never forget it. And they're like, they don't know that we've got this vehicle, we've got this network marketing business that's going to make us, you know, be able to afford this house. And as it happened, we did end up moving in 3 years. So we moved to this new house. But what I did before, on the run up to that, was I used to visit the show homes, I used to go upstairs, walk around the landing at the top, smell the new carpet, look down into the hall, and pretend. And when we hadn't got kids then, and we hadn't even discussed children, but I used to see the children running through the hall, running round, on the new carpets, in and out of all the rooms. And it was such a strong, like picture in my mind, that I believed it was going to happen, and it did. So we moved into a new house after 3 years, and then we moved again after another 3 years into the one where we are now, which was another new build, which, it's just incredible. We never would have believed that could have happened, but, I visualized it. The last topic was mindset. So people have covered this absolutely amazingly over the last 2 days. Mindset is so important. It always has been for me. And it takes daily work. It's not just something you work on, once and then that's it. You've got to work on it every single day. So I start my day now with, just a routine. I brush my teeth looking through my affirmations. I then listen to a positive, YouTube video while I'm getting ready. I have something else in the car when I'm coming back from school. Then I go into, my yoga, meditation and journal session, which, sounds a lot, but it's literally 10 minutes. So 10 minutes yoga, 10 minutes meditation, 10 minutes journaling, 10 minutes reading, personal development. And it's so, so important. And since I've done that, I've felt like I'm much more relaxed. I'm happier. My energy is better and I achieve, so much more. So I would really recommend that you do that. I also do gratitude every day, like Stacey said previously, write down, at least 5 things that I'm grateful for. And when you do that, when you have an attitude of gratitude, it just makes such a difference in everything. So I'll write down now, like, thank you for my team. Thank you for my online customers. Thank you for my team members. Thank you for the growth and support. Thank you for my check. I just write it every single day. And then alongside that, I'll write other things that have happened that I'm grateful for. I also have a list of abundance that I call the abundance tracker, and I'll track every single bit of money that comes in, every present, every gift, every compliment, just every good thing that happens. I write it down. And when you do that, because I also, obviously, I don't know if you've heard me speak before, I'm all obsessed with the law of attraction and, the secret and everything. But when you acknowledge, when you sort of do this mindset work, and then you acknowledge the things that are happening that are good in your life, the universe sees that as you, recognizing that that's happening. So it sends you more good stuff. So I just love doing the gratitude and abundance every single day. And then another affirmation that I use, and I write it down lots of times every single day, is everything is always working out for me. And again, that can help, with your business, with your life. Absolutely, it's a good all-rounder. So, some people say affirmations don't work. And, yes, if you say them and you don't really mean them, then I guess they don't. But if you write them down and you really believe that, and if you say them enough, and you're repetitive enough, then eventually it will replace, all the limiting beliefs that you'd already got. So it's about filling your, mind with the good stuff, so that there's not as much room for the negative stuff. Because my next point is just watch how you're talking to yourself every day, because the way we talk to ourselves sometimes, it's incredible how we will treat our own self. We wouldn't talk like that to our best friend. So why do we talk to ourselves like that? And sometimes, when you wake up in the morning, you start, processing all these thoughts. And before you even got out of bed, you've talked yourself out of all your greatness. You really have. So start the day talking to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Just talk positively to yourself and be grateful straight away as soon as you wake up. I don't know how we're doing for time. I need to wrap up. So the last thing, I just wanted to finish with a quote, which was one of the quotes that I heard. We were very fortunate to hear a guy called Jeff Olson, who is the author of The Slight Edge. And I know that book's already been mentioned this weekend. Brilliant book, absolutely amazing speaker. Loved hearing. We actually saw him in New York when we went on one of the conferences. And he said this quote, and it really stuck with me because I feel like it just summed up everything. He said, show up. Just show up, simply show up with a good attitude over a period of time, because obviously it doesn't happen overnight. You've got to give it a chance. You can't just join a network marketing business and expect it to all happen overnight. Show up with a good attitude over a period of time with desire and faith. So, you've got to want it and you've got to believe that it's going to happen for you. There's no point getting involved half-heartedly and thinking, I'll give it a go and see what happens. You've got to believe it's going to work. So that was it. My favourite quotes, Jeff Olson, show up with a good attitude over a period of time with desire and faith. And thank you so much, Craig, for asking me on. I will see you all soon. Bye for now.
Oh, Adele, thank you so much. I told you guys you were in for a treat today with Adele, and I've just been sat here making lots of notes. I did spend 5 minutes searching that house for Adele's book, How Shy People Are Successful Too, and Luba's like, I took it to Spain, it's at our villa. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
I've got one here.
I did find this one, 52 Tips to a Fantastic Year, which is a great little read as well, and really easy to consume, and some great ideas in there. So, hey, look, I know like Adele's just shared like an abundance of great information with you. I'm so sure you've had lots of aha moments, but one of the things I love about Adele's routine is that 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And we've talked about this a lot from the beginning of the event yesterday about feeding your soul, feeding your mind, feeding your heart, but also like the journaling and the manifestation. And I know Adele's like, one of the things that she constantly writes down is, you know, things like team success, what the vision is, and writing it down again and again and again and again, because as I think it was Heidi that said yesterday, there's something mechanical taking pen to paper. And too many people nowadays are just on their devices. But actually, in reality, taking notes and actually journaling, writing your goals down, writing your ideas down is phenomenal. Adele, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you all soon, and enjoy the rest of the event. Give Adele some love in the comments.
Thank you.
Bye, sweetheart.